School fucking sucks, alright? And let me tell you why through Yu Yu Hakusho references. Alright, so in the early parts of the Spirit Detective saga, you have Kuwabara, and this is one of the most interesting aspects of his character, and also goes back to like the themes of that half of the arc, or just like some of the interesting criticisms of the education system that are kind of, you know, subtly planted throughout that early half of the arc when Yusuke is a ghost. And that's that Kuwabara is a lot smarter than he seems, and you're first kind of misled in a way by how Kuwabara performs academically in his tests, right? And how his teacher kind of treats him like shit, and, you know, is actively trying to use this to like fuck him over when he gets into a scuffle with a bunch of thugs and gets caught up in a bunch of BS that wasn't really his fault, right? So, you know, Yusuke helps him out and he barely passes, right? And this kind of leads you to believe, okay, I guess, you know, Kuwabara may not be all that smart or whatever, right? You know, flash forward a bit to his fight with Byakko, and that entire fight is basically Kuwabara using his brains to like figure out how to deal with that fight. His brain, and also hinted to also be his sixth sense, kind of playing off of each other. And you see that Kuwabara, when he's in his element, when he's in situations that he's naturally more comfortable with, he can think outside the box and figure shit out in a way where he doesn't need raw strength or raw power like Hiei in that situation where he just fucking murdered Suryu. And in doing so, Kuwabara also kind of impresses everybody and, you know, shows that, yeah, he's not an idiot. And that goes all the way through the major idea of school not really being there, or also teachers too, not really being there for the students, but like a lot of them looking out for themselves and their own ambitions and what they want to achieve as a school slash as a teacher in terms of like career goals and image and all of that. And that's why you constantly see throughout that first part of Yu Yu Hakusho, teachers being presented in a very slimy fashion and doing things that are genuinely fucked up in the name of trying to get students to be academically in tip-top shape. And in the case of students who don't fit that tight mold, they kind of fall through the cracks, like Kuwabara, because Kuwabara isn't the type of person who thrives in an academic environment. He's one of the people who ends up not doing well and ends up falling through the cracks and getting fucked up. And this relates to school in the real world. Now, it's probably a surprise. This may come as a surprise to all of you, but I was not the best student in school, right? And I chalked this up to just hating the act of studying. I hated having to come home and spend time on remembering and memorizing things that I didn't really care about. I spent a lot of my time playing video games, you know, reading manga, you know, watching anime, you know, the typical otaku degenerate shit. And that shit, the reason why I spent so much time on it is because it made me fucking happy. It awakened a part of me that loved to hear a good story or to read a good story, right? And this kind of extended into certain things at school. Like, for example, my favorite subjects happen to be in the realms of English and history. Parts of school where you read a lot of stories and you hear a lot of things about people from the past and whatnot. Hell, it's even in the title of history, history, a story. And I think that's what I really enjoyed about those aspects. Now, in an academic setting, a lot of the times, and this is a major problem, I believe at least, these unique quirks for individual students are not necessarily thought of, or there are no measures put in place to necessarily fit those people. Everything is kind of standardized to such an insane degree that you can't really tweak or change anything to help people learn better, or people can't take paths in school that are more suited to their own intellectual talents or what they actually want to do or what they care about. Instead, we're all kind of forced to try and learn the same way, and that doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work. It never has worked, right? But realistically, that was never really the goal of the public school system in the first place. The whole point of it was to make, little worker drones at the end of the day. So when you have a system like this in charge and that hasn't changed for over a century, like this has been the same for a long ass fucking time, then of course you're gonna end up with problems, especially when we live in such a different era. But yeah, like I kind of see myself in a way as kind of a Yusuke or a Kuwabara, in the sense that I was not really made to exist in a system like this. Like in a sense, I'm the loser in a system like that because my needs are not being met. And that's the same feeling that a lot of students now are kind of going through. And the more I think about it as the years go by, the more I come to despise it, because the system is there right now largely due to complacency and also just the old guard and the old structures not wanting to die and clinging on for dear life, like a cancer on the face of our fucking country. And I'm sick and tired of it. So to finish this off, if you're in a particular situation that, I was in when I was growing up and, having to deal with a very inflexible school system, then just know that you're not alone and that there are a lot of things out there beyond this shitty bullshit way of doing things, and that you can be successful if you put your mind to it. Anyway, that's pretty much all I had to say. If you like this video, subscribe, like it obviously, comment below, tell me what you think, and I'll see you next time.